Okay, this video is the next in our series about the Verbingo client dashboard. Now again, this is not the tool for the translators, but this is the admin side where we allow materials to be loaded, terms to be saved, translation memories to be checked, edited, manipulated, etc. In our previous video, we talked about some decisions regarding setting up dashboards and projects. But this video, we're going to talk about the load/retrieve process. When I click on that button, I immediately see all of the file formats that we support in Verbingo. Now, it's important to remember that the load and retrieve process is the same. So you use the same source file to start a project as you do to finish it, because essentially your file serves as a template for the translations to be retrieved into. So you need to keep track of whatever source file you use. Now, we at Verbingo Solutions, we oftentimes will prep materials for clients and help you with that task. And we are always available for helping to load and retrieve materials, and we can do that for you. I want to just go over some of these. Honestly, we only use 2 or 3 of them. The rest of them we don't use a lot, so we don't fully support them. If you run into trouble, or if you have special needs with special file formats that you have, please let us know, and we will help you out again on a case-by-case basis. But the main ones that we use and like a lot are the InDesign file, the Word file, and then custom tags is one we use often, as well as text files. So keep that in mind. The first question when you're loading a file to translate is, what is the format? And it's the most important question at this point. Let's just take a Word document. I'm going to walk you through what this is all about. So you click on the format, and that tells Verbingo what you're doing. Then you need to pick a file, and again, it's as easy as you think. Just pick your Word doc, and it will show up here, and then you pick your language pair to match if you have any existing matching. Then you hit the scan button, and after you do that, you'll see how the report here fills out. When I click scan, it should only take a few seconds. Keep in mind that if your document is gigantic, it might choke the system. This is a tool online, so you need to consider size and such when you are working with these files. Also, if you ever run into the report that just reads 00 here, it probably means something is wrong with your file, and you can either contact us about it and we'll look at it, or go through your document and look for some things that yourself that might look odd or weird, and remove them and retry. Now, once you get a good document in here and it's working, notice the report. There's 4 numbers here. The first 2 have to do with matches against existing previous projects. The first one is if the translations are complete, you'll get a match here. The second one, if the project is being worked on by somebody else, you'll get numbers here. But most of the time you're going to get these next 3, which will help you out, especially if it's a new project, and that's the number of new unique words, and then the duplicates. Duplicates are segments that repeat inside that document or documents, and this is where a lot of savings will come. So for example, in this document, you save 5% because you're only translating the unique segments. And that's an important thing to remember in Verbingo. We only translate segments once. We don't save them. We don't save multiples and duplicates. So if there's a match, and it pulls it, and that's the savings. Now, one thing that's kind of nice about working in Verbingo is that you can load in more than one file at a time. Now, you can only load one format at a time, so you can't load in 2 Word documents and 2 InDesign. You can't do that. You can only do Word documents and then your InDesign documents. For example, here I'm going to load in 3 Word documents. I can do that. I can load up to 20, actually, to get the reports. We find it best practice to load in 1 at a time and make sure your segmentation is right. I'll talk about that in a second. But once you know that your documents are good, you can load them in and all at once if you'd like. The scan will show you, in this case, look at the results. 52% is all I need to translate, and I would save 48% because of the matching in these 3 documents. So that's important for you as a user to get right and make sure your segmentation is working. Once you get the numbers that you want here, you hit continue, and then you can go set up the project. A new project you click on new project if you have a if it's a new project to set up, or you would click on an existing one if there were any in there. You use these tools to set everything up, and you can add in a deadline and a PDF reference, etc., etc. Now I'm going to set this up. We'll call it test, create project, and I'm going to sync. Now this is what I would do. This is what we do when we set up projects for clients. It takes a few seconds here to set up these segments. Then you get the message. You can return them to my projects, and you should see at the bottom here, test. Now the first thing you want to do is the project isn't necessarily ready to go. You still need to have a view, have a look at this project, and make sure the segmentation is right, because sometimes it's not, and that can cause problems. Basically what we look for is beginning and ending of segments to make sure things aren't chopped. Oftentimes, if for example here, I can see this segment, there's no period. That would suggest maybe there's a problem with this segment that I need to go fix. Some things that you need to fix, I'm going to go over to the Word document here, for example. I mentioned before that segmentation is very important. It's important to know that your document has clean segmentation, and that there aren't things that can break up segments, like in this case with this paragraph. Notice here there is both a soft return and a hard return at the end of these lines. This will cause these segments to turn into 3 separate segments, which you don't want. Again, we would go through on our end, clean out those types of things to make sure this is one continuous paragraph that the translator can then work with. We do the same thing with InDesign materials and other file formats to make sure the segmentation works. You will run into these problems because these are common formatting issues that people create when they're making documents, but they need to be cleaned up beforehand, otherwise segmentation is a nightmare. And proper segmentation is the key to matching. So again, if you are done with your projects, then you would actually not reverse, but follow the same process. I'm going to go pick those same files again and show you now what the readout says. I'm going to scan them just like I did before. Notice no longer do I see the segments in the new column or new row, but I see them all in the segments currently being translated row. Now this tells me again where my matches are coming from. They're not translated yet, but as they get translated, they will turn into, they will populate this row up here that will turn into 100%, which tells you essentially you can then retrieve your materials following that same process. I hope this has been clear. If you have any questions, perhaps watch our other videos to give you some more better context and learning. Feel free to watch the video again, or of course contact us here at Verbatim Solutions. Thank you.